What is up, everybody? This is KillerCam1020, and these are your weekly handheld headlines for the week of June 3rd, 2024, which is a series where we discuss the most interesting handheld gaming news from around the internet and break down stories like MSI already revealing a new upgraded Claw handheld for some reason, an updated look at Zotac's OLED handheld, and Xbox is about to reveal a new handheld? So if you thought the MSI Claw was a disappointment, well, MSI apparently agrees with you, as they have already announced a new and improved version of the MSI Claw just 6 months after its initial reveal. However, the MSI Claw 8 AI, yes, that is the actual name of the device, actually doesn't sound too bad, because it has an Intel Lunar Lake APU with Xe2 cores for the GPU, which should be a significant performance boost over the current MSI Claw. It also has an upgraded display that is now an 8-inch 1080p 120Hz display, and it will also have an 80 watt-hour battery similar to that of the ROG Ally X. However, the price is still unknown, but I wouldn't expect it to be very cheap considering the original Claw is already overpriced for what you were getting. But speaking of the ROG Ally X, it has now been officially revealed. It turns out the leaked specs, which we covered in last week's video, are accurate. However, we now know the price and we actually know what it looks like, as people have had hands-on experience with it at Computex. The ROG Ally X will have the same 1080p 120Hz IPS display as the ROG Ally, the same Ryzen Z1 Extreme, but now with 24GB of LPDDR5 RAM, 1TB of storage, an 80 watt-hour battery, and a brand new ergonomic shell that comes in black. The ROG Ally X comes in at $799 USD, and it launches on July 22nd, and you can pre-order it now at the link in the description. But sticking with the topic of Asus, if you own a regular ROG Ally, you'll be pleasantly surprised that Asus has now added a free 2-year warranty to your device. This is likely due to the mass criticism of how they handle the micro SD card slot issues, and the recent controversy surrounding the Gamers Nexus video exposing how awful and unethical their warranty service actually is. While this doesn't automatically make things right, it is, however, a good gesture and better than them doing absolutely nothing. But continuing with our next headline, AMD officially revealed its new Ryzen AI 300 series at Computex. This is the official name of their Strix Point processors, which we talked about last week. The AI 300 series will utilize RDNA 3.5 graphics and look very impressive. However, these chips have not been announced for handhelds yet, but it's just a matter of time before someone, probably named Neo, releases one with the AI 300 chip inside, since it feels as though they released a new handheld on a semi-weekly basis. Seriously, someone tell me how they can afford to engineer and produce so many damn handhelds. It's hard to keep up with. Sticking with the topic of Computex, Zotac officially revealed the Zotac Zone this week, and it actually looks surprisingly compelling. The Zotac Zone will contain a Ryzen 8840U APU, 16GB of LPDDR5X RAM, 512GB of SSD storage, 2 USB 4 ports, a 48.5 watt-hour battery, 2-stage adjustable triggers, Hall effect joysticks, a front-facing camera, dual touchpads just like the Steam Deck, and a 7-inch 1080p 120Hz OLED display, however, without VRR. It will be released in September of this year with a price tag of $800 USD. So yes, this is a premium handheld which will be directly competing with the ROG Ally X, which is also priced at $800. In contrast though, the Ally X has an 80 watt-hour battery and 24GB of RAM, however, without an OLED display of course, and all those other features. So it will be interesting to see how those two go neck and neck later this year. But just out of curiosity, what screen would you rather have? A 1080p OLED screen without VRR or a 1080p IPS screen with VRR? Let me know in the comment. On the opposite end of the price spectrum, Adata's handheld, which we briefly mentioned last week, has been officially revealed, and it has one of the most unique designs for a gaming handheld and is expected to cost less than $600. However, there's a bit of a catch. The Adata XPG NIA has a lifted/tilted screen design, a front-facing camera with eye tracking, manually upgradable RAM up to 64GB of LPDDR5X, and it features a Ryzen 8840U APU, which is the same as the Zotac Zone. But most interestingly, Adata is offering 3D models for users to upgrade or change the device to their liking with a 3D printer. The motherboard is also removable if you wish. However, the device is set to launch in 2025, which is really far away, but it also probably explains why it's so cheap. But by far the most interesting story this week we had to talk about is Xbox preparing to launch a handheld. Many, including myself, have theorized that the Xbox Series S could be a Trojan horse for a handheld with identical specs, and those theorists may in fact be onto something, because it's been widely reported that a reputable leaker called Ecstasy said that Microsoft is preparing to show off their new handheld at its showcase this week. We have seen Phil Spencer repeatedly hint that there was going to be something handheld related coming from Xbox. I assumed he was working on an Xbox OS for Windows handhelds, similar to SteamOS on the Steam Deck. However, it seems that it's more likely the outcome will be a dedicated handheld. But that doesn't mean that they aren't working on an Xbox OS as well. But a handheld that runs games like the Xbox Series S at a console price point is a compelling offer in my opinion, especially if you can dock it like the Switch. And of course, this is probably not ideal for PC gamers who have most of their games on Steam, but a great option for Xbox Game Pass subscribers and Xbox console owners. But of course, take this rumor with a grain of salt until it's actually revealed. But regardless, would you be interested in an Xbox handheld? Let me know in the comments. But before we end this video, I do have one more story that I think will interest a lot of retro gamers. The creator of Oculus, Palmer Luckey, has announced a new product, and it's nothing remotely close to VR. It's a modern rendition of a Game Boy that takes real cartridges called the ModRetro Chromatic. It's made out of a magnesium alloy shell with ultra durable PBT buttons, USB video out, and they are selling new modern Game Boy games on cartridges. Yes, this has been done before with the Analog Pocket, but Luckey says his rendition is much more authentic and the screen is closer to the original sub-pixel layout of the original Game Boy Color. The ModRetro Chromatic is launching this holiday and you can pre-order it now at his website, which I will link in the description, commission free. That's going to do it for this week's Handheld Headlines. This is episode 2 in a series that I would love to continue, and I appreciate the support on the first episode. And if you found this video informative, hit that like button. I also have an ROG Ally 1-year review that should be out at the time of this video, but if not, it will be out later this week. So keep an eye out for that. On top of PC gaming handhelds, I will also be covering Nintendo's upcoming next-gen Switch and if Xbox and PlayStation release handhelds and more. So if that is something that interests you, definitely hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell to be the first to know when my next video drops. This has been KillerCam1020. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Peace.